The victim reported looking up and seeing 3 young men on the bridge above, and police have now appealed for additional witnesses to come forward. Police are hunting for 3 young men who poured bleach on a woman from a bridge and left her partially blind. The woman was approaching an underpass in Portland Street when she was attacked from the bridge above. The victim, who has since lost the sight in one of her eyes, reported looking up and seeing 3 young men on the bridge above. One of the suspects was described as being white, around 17 years old, with short light hair, and he was wearing a white tracksuit. Police are now appealing for anyone who witnessed the incident, or anyone who was around that area at the time, to come forward. Detective Inspector James Oakton said, "This was a horrible incident that left a woman with serious injuries, including damage to her eyesight. The victim has understandably been left distraught by what happened, and we're determined to track down the people responsible. We have progressed with our investigation but now want to hear from any additional witnesses who have yet to come forward." The attack was reported at about 8 p.m. on September 2nd. Detective Inspector Oakton added, "Anyone who saw this may not have been aware of just how serious this incident was, so I hope this appeal will serve to jog their memories and motivate them to come forward. We understand 3 people were involved in this incident, so we'd ask anyone who saw or heard anything that could assist our investigation to get in touch with us immediately. Information can be reported to the police on 101, quoting Incident 743 of September 2, 2023, or Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111. Police were investigating early morning reports of someone banging on doors when they bumped into Anton Scott, 23, who was standing with no shoes on in the middle of Woodborough Road, St. Anne's. A drug dealer who stood in the middle of the road with no shoes on and had a pocket full of drugs has been jailed. Police were investigating early morning reports of someone banging on doors when they bumped into Anton Scott, 23, who was standing with no shoes on in the middle of Woodborough Road, St. Anne's, at 2:05 a.m. on February 6. Police said Scott refused to leave the scene and started to act increasingly suspicious, prompting officers to carry out a search at the roadside. They found a bag inside one of his pockets which contained 35 wraps of heroin and cocaine. He was arrested at the scene and was later charged with 2 counts of possession with intent to supply Class A drugs. Scott insisted the drugs found on him were for personal use until the morning of his trial on August 1, when he pleaded guilty to the charges against him. Scott, of Flory Walk, Clifton, returned to Nottingham Crown Court on Tuesday, September 12, where he was handed a prison sentence of 2 years and 8 months. PC Sarah Gooch, of Nottinghamshire Police, said, "As Scott has found out to his cost, selling cocaine, heroin and other Class A drugs is an extremely serious offence that brings with it a severe sentence. These illicit substances do unimaginable harm to people's lives and the communities they touch as well, which is precisely why Nottinghamshire Police will always respond robustly to any reports we get of drug activity. In this case, we were actually attending reports of a disturbance when we came across Scott, who aroused the suspicions of our officers because of the way he was acting. Thanks to officers following up these suspicions and searching Scott, we were ultimately able to seize dozens of wraps of Class A drugs before they were able to cause further harm. We hope that Scott uses his time behind bars to reevaluate the way he's living his life and tries to change his ways for the better." Thank you guys for watching our crime update files. Please subscribe below if you found any value in this video. Subscribing helps us to extend our reach across the YouTube network.